evening. Welcome to the December 4th Kildare Hills Board of Commissioners meeting. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you would now join us in a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, first on the agenda this evening is approval of the agenda.
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Okay, now we move on to the first time set aside on the agenda this evening for public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone in the audience to who wishes to address the board on any topic to address the board. If you're speaking as an individual, we ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you're speaking on behalf of a group, we ask you to limit those comments to 5 minutes. Did anyone sign up this evening, Mary, to speak? No, ma'am. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak at this first public comment period? Anyone? Okay, seeing no hands, we will move on, which obviously we will skip response to public comment and move directly into old business. First item under old business is the consent agenda.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Consent agenda this evening has 3 items. First is the minutes from the November 13 and 15, 2013 meeting. Second is 2 budget amendments. One is to provide additional contributions that the town's received for purchases of the AEDs and the patrol car. And second is to provide funds for employee holiday gift cards. And lastly, the community garden memorandum of understanding. For those that you recall, September 9th, the board approved for the staff to work with the town attorney on establishing an unimproved portion of Goldie Street and for the benefits of a community garden. And with the town attorney's help, that draft memorandum of understanding is for your approval. And I'm sorry, I said 3 items, there's actually 4. D is the declaration of official intent to reimburse expenditures. This has to do with a requirement from the local government commission that requires you to get their approval before financing any improvements to real property. And this would be for the financing of the lighting replacement improvements to Meekins Field, which is included in the budget. And this evening staff would ask approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Debbie.
I move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda. This is really going to be a fun meeting tonight. Several things to celebrate, but I'm really excited about this next agenda item. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Sue Kelly. She is the chairman of the, I guess it was enacted last year. In January, we established a Community Appearance Commission for the town. And Sue is the chairperson for that committee and is doing an excellent job. And she's here to share some information about a Community Appearance Award, and then we have the pleasure of recognizing some of the award nominees and recipients. So Sue, thank you for being here and the work that you're doing, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Davies. I'm really excited about the opportunity to see the reestablishment of the Kildare Hills Community Appearance Award. And it's our real honor and privilege tonight to present the nominees and the winners of both an award for the most improved site and also the award for the most attractive, the Appearance Award in our town. And as Sheila said, at the end of 2012, the Board of Commissioners appointed the Community Appearance Commission. We call it the CAC for short. And in January of this year, we began our work. The CAC was tasked, among other things, to develop plans that, quote, enhance and improve the visual quality and aesthetic characteristics of the town, unquote. It's my pleasure now to introduce the members of the commission who are here tonight. First, Mayor Davies. Secondly, Bambo Charalambos, who's over there, and Mr. Chris Merrick, who is here. And then other members who were not able to be here tonight, who are on the CAC, include Clay Richardson, Priscilla Prishay, she much prefers Pris, and Skip Johnson and Melinda Magowski. They had illnesses or schedule conflicts to keep them from being here. I want to take just a second to thank the KDH Town staff, because they really have helped us with this task. So from the planning department, we've worked closely with Greg Loy, Meredith Guns, and Brian Brightbill. From public services, Steve Albright, and from administration, Mary Quidley, Harriet Banner, and Rebecca Dudzinski. I happen to believe that we have an extremely dedicated and talented staff in this town, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to say that. Some of the issues that the Community Appearance Commission has addressed this year are utility poles, grass cutting along the beach road and the bypass, trash, signage, outdoor display, to name just a few. Am I too close? But one of the items that we feel really, really good about is this award tonight, the reestablishment of the town's Community Appearance Award and the award for the Most Improved Site. These awards were last presented in 2005. So first, we'll present certificates for the nominees for the Most Improved Site. Those nominees were Plaza Azteca Restaurant. Is there anybody here? Please come forward. If you'll go up to Mayor Davies, she has a certificate for you. And what's your name, please?
Mustafa.
Mustafa. Congratulations, Mustafa.
And if you don't mind staying up here, after tell everyone we're going to get pictures. Great, congratulations. Thank you.
The next nominee in this category was First Bank, and here to accept the certificate of nomination is Mike Wygant. Congratulations. The next nominee for the Most Improved Site is Ocean Atlantic Rentals, and here to accept that certificate is Chris Merrick. And the last nominee in this category is also our winner. The Most Improved Site in Kill Devil Hills for the 2013-2014 year is the Outer Banks Inn. Accepting the award is the general manager of the inn, Joshua Roseberry. Let's give some applause. All right, and now the nominees and ultimately the winner of the 2013-14 Community Appearance Award in Kill Devil Hills. Now, these nominees were judged on criteria which included architecture, harmony with surroundings, landscape, lighting, signage, parking, amenities, cleanliness, ease of access, and others. So the nominees for this Community Appearance Award for 2013-14 were Lost Treasure Golf. Tell us who you are, sir.
Jim Waters.
Jim Waters, accepting for Lost Treasure Golf. Congratulations. And the next nominee this year was Dairy Queen. Do we have someone from Dairy Queen? Come on. Please, what's your name?
Eveline Octavia.
Eveline Octavia, accepting for Dairy Queen. Congratulations. The next nominee this year was 17th Street Surf Shop, and here to accept this certificate is Bob Izziaria. And the next nominee is the Flying Fish Restaurant. Do we have someone from the Flying Fish? Well, we'll make sure that they get their certificate. The next nominee is the Kill Devil Grill. And I understand that they will also be getting their certificate at a later date. And the next nominee is Shutters. Oh, two. Oh, wow. Congratulations. The last nominee is the Croatan Surf Club. Oh, congratulations. What's your name, please?
Ainsley Miller,
Thank you, Ainsley.
Association Manager.
Hey, how are you?
And now we are extremely pleased to announce the final nominee and the winner of the 2013-2014 Kill Devil Hills Community Appearance Award, Captain George's Seafood Restaurant. And here to accept the plaque is Bambo Charalambos. I just have one last quick thing I'd like to share. Excuse me. The Community Appearance Commission welcomes your input and ideas about what our town should look like. The things you like, the things you're not so fond of. We meet normally the fourth Thursday of every month at 8:30 a.m. in this room. And if any of you get or check out the website for the town, it'll always be on there if we ever have to have a change. We will not be meeting in December. Thank you all very much for your attention. Thank you all for your participation. And especially thanks to the winners.
Any comments from the board before we move on?
No, I just want to say congratulations to everybody, and the town's looking pretty good, I think, for the most part, and in large part due to this people that we celebrated with tonight.
Congratulations to everybody, and thank you so much to the Community Appearance Commission and Sue. Y'all have done a great job.
Okay. Oh, so we will move on to new business. And we have one item under new business this evening, and that's the certification of the election results, oaths of office, and organizational items. Before we move into the certification of the results, and I guess turning it really over to Mary, I know that my fellow board members would like to take an opportunity to thank Commissioner Pitt for his service with us over the past year. For those of you who may not recall, we had a vacancy on the board, and the board, at the time, we had the option to nominate someone to fill that vacancy to the remainder of the unexpired term, which ends now. And, you know, all of us dreamt that it could be that Bill would serve with us. We had some conversations, but we really weren't sure if he was going to accept our invitation. And I remember the night that I called him, before I told him what I was calling about, I said, you know, I have one thing to tell you, and you cannot tell me no on this phone call when I ask you. You know, certainly you can think about it, but you cannot tell me no tonight. And I was shocked when not only he didn't tell me no, he said yes that night. So anyway, it really, I had the pleasure when I first moved to Dare County in the Outer Banks. I was working as the director of the YMCA, and Bill Pitt was a board member on the YMCA board. He was one of the founding board members. And that was my first exposure to Bill, and a great opportunity to learn from him. He was instrumental in our first membership campaign at the YMCA, and as a young executive director at the time, taught me a lot about what it meant to connect with your community, understand stakeholders and the value they bring to organizations. And so I really have just so enjoyed being able to serve with you on the board here. Your wisdom and your experience, it's hard to put into words what that means and how valuable that has been. Anyway, it's sad to see you go, but you made it very clear when he said yes. He made it very clear that night that it was yes and only for that term. He would not be running, and we couldn't convince him otherwise. So, but I personally just thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just want to say I've been associated with Bill for about the past 10 years in one way or another on the planning board and now here at the Board of Commissioners. And this past year he's been really valuable to us. We dealt with some things that had to do with finance, which I'm not very good at. If I was doing it, I'd be taking my shoes off here to count. You probably wouldn't like that. But we have him, and he helped us out with the beach nourishment and some issues with the sewage treatment plant and some other things, and along with the normal stuff that we handle, which obviously he's always done an excellent job on, even in his prior service. I just want to thank him personally for being here, and like Sheila, over the years I've learned a lot from Bill, and we're going to be sorry to see him go, but we're going to have him on speed dial just in case. Thanks, Bill.
I can pretty much say ditto to what the other two have said about Bill. I'm fortunate enough to call him neighbor as well, so I've worked with him on our Community Homeowners Association as well, and been fortunate enough to see him in that capacity. And I'm somebody who believes God has a plan, and I think in this particular incident with us being still newbies, only having served for 2 years, I think God's plan was to give us somebody who was going to show us the way, especially in a year where there was not only reevaluations done, but beach nourishment. So I don't think there is any better person who could have been put in this seat than somebody who had not only been here before, but had a financial head and background. So I want to again say thank you, and I'm like Mike, I don't think we're done with you yet.
No, actually, that's a great way to end, because we're not done with you yet, Bill. In fact, there's very few things that I get to maybe proclaim as mayor, but one of the things that I would like to do, Bill, is to ask you to serve as the liaison to the board for the Beach Nourishment Project for the duration of our project.
I will.
Wonderful. That's great. And Bill's wife is here, and we should thank her for sharing Bill with us. We appreciate that. Ms. Glenn. Thank you. So I hope you don't mind that we're going to, as Mayor Pro Tem Hogan mentioned, keep him on speed dial and certainly have him engage with us through the beach nourishment. So thank you, too. Walk over and see Mary.
My turn now?
Oh, yeah, your turn now. Yes, sir. Bill, just a small token, obviously. There's not enough we can do to thank you. I think we certainly all feel the same, but just a small token. And
Thank you so much, Philip. Thank you very much. And thank you all. As you know, I led a gypsy life my whole life. I was the son of an engineer and an Army officer and a naval officer by profession. And this is the first town I've ever lived in for more than a few years. This is my hometown, my first hometown, actually. I've always enjoyed the opportunity to really join in and participate and be a part of the community and be able to contribute something to my hometown. I've enjoyed it immensely. This marks my 9th year, I guess, as a commissioner by accident. I enjoyed it mostly, and I hope I contributed a little bit. Thank you all so much for putting up with me, and I really appreciate it. Sugar wafers, my favorite. And this is a well-wrapped statue of the monument. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
And with that, Mary, is it appropriate to turn this over to you?
This makes me teary-eyed, thinking that he's on his way. We've had a long relationship, Mr. Pitt and the staff here, and he's worked hard for the people of Kittle Hills, and y'all have been real fortunate to have him on board. At this time, I would like to call Ms. Davies forward, please. Ms. Davies won the November 5th election as the mayor of the town of Kittle Hills with a vote of 441. We can do it. Ooh, Margaret. Let's see. Television's a great thing, but it's not quite as simple moving around as it used to be.
And I'm joined here by my oldest son Wyatt and my youngest son Chase, 8 and 5, and my husband Daryl. Do you want to hold the Bible? Yeah. So you need to hold it up flat like this, so your mom can put her hand on it. There you go. Would you like that? Oh, you can move over. Okay. Yep. Okay. I, Sheila Davies, do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of the state of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor of the town of Kittle Hills, according to the best of my skill and ability, according to the law, so help me God. Congratulations.
All right, we'll do this in alphabetical order. Mr. Appleman, meet me at the front. Mr. Appleman also won a seat on the board for a 4-year term with 362 votes.
I, Travis Appleman, do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as Commissioner of the town of Kittle Hills according to the best of my skill and ability, according to the law, so help me God. I didn't introduce my family, but this is my daughter Kelly, my wife Katie, and my son Aaron.
Travis, you sit up here now. Congratulations.
Mr. Midget, where might you be? There you are. All right, Michael Midget won the second seat as a commissioner for the town for a 4-year term with a vote of 255.
I, Michael Midget, do solemnly affirm that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of North Carolina, not inconsistent with them, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as Commissioner of the Town of Killable Hills according to the best of my skill and ability according to the law.
This is the part that makes it official. Thank you, Mary. And like at any good celebration, there's always cake, right? So we are actually going to take a little break and enjoy the celebration. There's some family members that are here with our newly elected board members or newly sworn in board members. So we'll take a break for just about 10 or 15 minutes, enjoy some of the refreshments that have been provided. Sorry, we have one notion of business to do on this item before we do take a break and eat cake. The kids are very excited about the cake, so I have to keep saying that. But anyway. And that is the appointment for the Mayor Pro Tem. And I would like to entertain a motion for nominations for the Mayor Pro Tem.
And I will make a motion that we maintain Mike Hogan as Mayor Pro Tem.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, and congratulations. Thank you. Okay, let's take a break and celebrate for a few moments. Thank you. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order and resume with our agenda. The next item on the agenda is the Commissioner's agenda. Michael, we'll start with you. Do you have anything for us this evening?
I do not.
Okay,
Thanks for asking.
thank you. Travis?
I do not.
Okay. Brady?
I'll just say welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
I'd also like to say welcome. Going to be a pleasure, I think. I hope.
Anything else under your agenda this evening?
No, I'm good. I got nothing.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the mayor's agenda. Several things this evening. Again, I think they left, but just I was going to say a thank you to Bill and a big welcome to Michael and Travis. I look forward to serving with you over the next 2 years, and we have a lot of items that come January we will be jumping into, but it will be a pleasure serving with you. So congratulations and welcome. In our packet earlier, under the minutes that were approved with the consent agenda, which, where my packet go? I just want to draw your attention to the minutes from the capital improvement work session that we hosted on Friday, November, I believe it was 15th, yes. And just for those of you in the audience and for those of you listening to this at a later time, we participated and hosted a capital improvement workshop. And basically, this was a special meeting that we held to try to come to grips with the various projects that we have on our plate as a town. There were a number. In fact, if anyone wants, you can go back and look at the agenda, or not the agenda, the packet that was released for the November 13th meeting, and it included an overview of all of the different capital improvement projects that the town is looking to address. And so the goal of that work session that we had was to start trying to prioritize those items and also look at how we would fund them. It's one thing to have them on a list. Several of them have been on a list for a number of years and had not been funded. And we're starting to see some of the issues with not funding some of our capital improvements, for example, vehicles and things that are now catching up with us. So I draw your attention to the minutes in this for this meeting, because we accomplished a lot in 3 hours as a board, and we did have the pleasure of having Michael and Travis join us for that meeting so they could hear the discussion and be part of that. But we were able to, in those 3 hours, look at prioritizing some of the items, and then basically tasking staff with, as they prepare the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, to look at how we can incorporate some of these items in a funding plan. So when we do receive the budget from the staff and from the town manager in the spring, these items will either be included, and so we as a board and you as citizens will be looking at those and seeing if you agree that these are the priorities, and if you agree with the funding plan to cover those. And if you don't, then we can make adjustments. But anyway, I think it's a lot of great work that came out of that session, and I look forward to seeing the budget when it's produced by the staff. So, the third item that I had is a thank you. I just wanted to I noticed personally, and it could be where I live, it's not very far from the police department, and also not very far from town hall. And we have had it seems like a very, very busy season over the past month to month and a half with fire and rescue calls and police calls for accidents. And anyway, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the firefighters, the police officers, our detectives, for the exceptional work that you have been doing, that you continue to do. There have been, unfortunately, some severe accidents in our town, at least 1, 2 resulting in fatalities, and I appreciate the professionalism that our departments have shown. And I also appreciate the timeliness that you all are getting out information to the public with respect to public news releases and media announcements where appropriate. I think we're doing a really good job trying to keep our citizens informed of what's happening, so thank you all for your efforts in that. I also want to draw your attention in your packet to the proposed meeting calendar for 2014. The meeting dates in here are consistent with how we have met over the past 2 years. Based on some months there's 1 meeting, some months there's 2 meetings. The months that there are 1 meeting, it's either because there's a holiday and it's just the way the calendar falls, and because historically the volume of business needing to be conducted by the board doesn't warrant 2 meetings. At any time, if there was a need, the board can always schedule an additional meeting. The months where there are 2 meetings, 2 of those months, it's because we have opted to host public forums where the citizens, it's a non-agenda meeting, but we can, it's just a casual atmosphere to have discussion with the town citizens on any items they wish to bring before the board. And then the other months where there's 2 meetings, especially in May and June, it's often related to the work that we need to be doing with the budget guidance, and then reviewing the budget. So with that, if you all agree with the proposed dates, a motion would be in order to adopt our 2014 meeting calendar.
I make a motion that we adopt the calendar for 2014.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion or questions?
There's at least a couple of meetings that I know that I'm gonna be out of town for. One is the February meeting, but then also the April meeting actually falls over spring break. So I don't know if others might have plans that they might not.
Is that the April 23rd meeting? Or is that the 14th? Which?
The 14th, the 23rd we'd be back.
Okay.
I think before that date comes, we might look at maybe possibly changing it,
Right.
if, you know. I don't know how much that spring break, other than people will be out of town, some people, I don't know how much that affects, it might affect our attendance.
Right.
I don't think we have to,
Okay.
we don't have to do anything with it right now, I don't think.
No, we can adjust, but looking at, we only host one meeting in February. Would there be any reason we wouldn't be able to move that meeting to the next week?
I wouldn't suggest the next week because that's another
that-
holiday, but perhaps if you moved your February meeting to the 12th, Commissioner Appleman, I don't know how long you'll be out, is that for a week or?
I'd actually be coming back on the 12th.
um,
So,
February?
What about the 3rd? Monday the 3rd?
I could do that.
Will that be an issue for our attorney,
Um,
probably?
Wednesday the
But-
5th?
Are you talking about February?
February. That would work this far in advance for me, that's fine.
What's the date?
February 5th for the February meeting instead of the 10th?
So my first meeting, I'll be difficult. I'm going the 5th through the 12th is
Oh.
is my dates. So,
Then perhaps we could look at maybe the 19th. I just wouldn't suggest the 17th, which is
Sure, you're
President's
right.
Day.
But that Wednesday then?
Wednesday the 19th, does that work for everyone?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's do that. Well, how about we leave the April 14th at this point, and then we can, as we get closer, or, Debbie, would you prefer we look at, you have the calendar, I mean, if it's okay to look at a date.
I think
Or-
I think if we're able, if you know you want to
Look at rescheduling, it's better to do it
it's
now.
better to go ahead and do it now, but that's certainly up to the board.
What about the week before, instead of the 14th, what is the 7th like? Because the public forum then only follows the week later.
Right.
So that would give some separation in between the meeting and the public forum. So April 7th, do we know if that's an issue?
No, that one wouldn't work for me.
Okay. Mike, any?
The only thing might be the site plans, if we have site plans that, we're on schedule in terms of having a developer go through the planning board process and then have possibly some revisions that might need to be made and then staff review of that. Sometimes that could create a problem when you take that extra week away. It takes a week out of the review process.
What we could consider, if the board would like, is maybe do your public forum
April 7th.
April 7th and then have your regular meeting on the 23rd.
Let's do that. Is everyone okay with that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great suggestion.
So just to clarify, the February meeting will be on the 19th. The first April meeting will be on the 7th, and that would be the public forum. And then the regular meeting would be the 23rd. Okay?
That looks great. Okay. So, did we have a motion?
We did.
Yes.
And we had a second, and then this came up during discussion.
Right.
So let me amend the motion
Thank you.
to say that I will make a motion that we accept the calendar as amended.
Great.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Okay. The other item that was in your packet, or no, it wasn't in your packet, it was in my mind. Sorry. Was, I wanted to bring up the concept, I know we had an opportunity to discuss this, and I think we may have too, the thought of, let me give you a little bit of history. Years ago, for a number of years, the town hosted a holiday Christmas party for staff and all of the board members for the various boards of committees involved with the town, the Board of Commissioners. And that, probably 4 or 5 years ago, that party was stopped. A lot of it was budgetary reasons. We were talking about the possibility of looking at trying to do something, and in discussions, we feel like, the gift cards that we're able to provide the staff, it's a holiday gift card for groceries or whatnot. We feel like the staff would much prefer that than a party. But that being said, I feel like it would be really nice for the Board of Commissioners to be able to do a small thank you reception of some sort for all of the members of the various committees and all. We really don't do anything to thank other than maybe say thank you. We really don't do anything to recognize their service. And these are volunteers that put in a lot of hours and time, and I think it would just be a small way to show our appreciation, to host some type of reception. It doesn't have to be a Christmas event, because, even a New Year's reception or something in the New Year, not necessarily a New Year's reception. So in discussing it, there would be a couple of opportunities. We could do something at a local restaurant in town as kind of a reception, like at one afternoon from 4 to 6. Those of you who've maybe been to some of the chamber receptions, maybe the expense to the town would be would be like the food if we wouldn't do alcohol. I mean, people could drink, but it would be on their own time. Or we could host something here at Town Hall, same kind of thing, maybe bring food in, but do it as an afternoon reception. So I wanted to just bring that up and see what you all thought about that concept and hear your thoughts. So what do you think?
I think it's a good idea. When we talked about it, I thought it was good to do something for those different subcommittees. There's, like you said, as you can tell by this evening listening to Sue, the amount of work that they've done. That's just one committee, and that's just one group of people, and there's 4 or 5 more like that are out there doing stuff all the time for us, and it would be nice to have something, probably in January sometime. Once we get past the holidays, people's schedules clear up, something like that. Have something like 5 to 7 at one of the restaurants, be have time to get off work, and something like that. We can put it in the planning stage, I suppose, right?
I agree, definitely. I mean, I can't say enough. I mean, we can say thank you all day long, but I think if we could, do a little more, that's a definite.
I like the idea.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. And I think staff were trying to come up with totals. I'm guessing it's between 40 and 50 volunteers, when you look at all the different committees that are
I received $40,000.
No. And
What kind of thing you doing there?
I would think if we, they had looked at a couple of quotes, and I think if you do it at a restaurant, you could be looking at anywhere for the food from $16 to $18 a person. If you do it here, it would be a little bit cheaper. But, it's not a large number of people, so it's not going to be a large expenditure. So, do you guys have a preference on, as far as providing direction to the town on whether it's here or whether it's at a restaurant? Do you have a preference?
I'd rather see it at a restaurant. I think because get away from here,
Right.
leave the work
Change of
behind.
scenery.
Yeah, leave
Yeah,
the work
sure.
behind.
Okay.
Yeah, personally, that's how I feel.
I agree with that.
And what other type of a date?
I would say after the holidays.
Sometime in January. Let me look back at what we just approved for meeting dates, and I'm thinking enough time to get invitations out. Maybe like the 3rd. Ooh, I was thinking the 3rd week of January. We only have one meeting.
When you doing class?
I would say later in January. We would want to get invitations out to the committee members and they'd be able to respond.
Okay, so maybe like either the 3rd or 4th Thursday in January. We can check and make sure nothing else is.
23rd or 30th?
Is anyone?
The third one would be the 16th.
Oh, you're
Oh,
right,
there's an
I'm
extra
sorry.
one. Oh,
And
Yeah, there's
the,
a whole bunch of Thursdays.
Right,
Yeah.
the 23rd, 24th is when I was looking at doing the class.
oh, okay. So we want to stay away from that.
So maybe the 30th?
So the 30th.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Does that sound okay?
At the moment, yeah.
When was the class? The New Bern one is.
The class they're
23rd,
talking about, there's an
24th.
orientation for new commissioners in either Greenville or Raleigh. So certainly we want to support our new commissioners for attending that workshop.
Did you say the class was in Raleigh?
It's either Greenville or Raleigh. Which?
There's New Bern, Chapel Hill,
Oh, so is this one in New Bern?
Asheville. This particular one was New Bern.
Okay,
Then I guess I'll do that one as well.
that's probably the closest.
It's
So the 30th?
Okay,
sure.
the 30th. Any other Correction, are we
No,
good?
ma'am.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Certainly. Okay, and the last thing I have under the mayor's agenda is just a big thank you to all of our staff. I know Sue said it well earlier in her presentation that we really are fortunate in Kildare Hills to have such a strong staff. Thank you, Mary, for all of your support this year, and Debbie and all of the other staff members, department heads, and staff team members. Appreciate all that you do for our town, and being that this will be our last meeting before the end of the year, wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays with your families, and look forward to an exciting new year and working with you. So that's the conclusion of my agenda. The town manager's agenda.
Yes. Yes, ma'am, thank you. I'd like to welcome the two new commissioners and also congratulate you on your reelection. And myself and the staff all look forward to working with the board. It's going to be an interesting year with a lot of things going on. Also, on behalf of all the employees, I'd like to thank the board for the holiday cards. It was very kind and it's most appreciated. So thank you.
Certainly. Town attorney's agenda?
Well, luckily for all of you guys, I don't have anything for you.
Thank
We've all
you.
been good.
Thank you. And thank you, Steve, for your service, too. We are very grateful to have your service to the town. Any committee reports? Anyone have any? I'll probably have a big report in January, but nothing that we haven't already discussed there, and the same thing with the tourism board. Anything else? And we don't have a second consent agenda.
No, ma'am.
Nope. Okay, so we'll move right into the second time set aside this evening for public comment. Is there anyone here with us this evening that would like to speak at this public comment? No? Okay, then we are actually set for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.